everybody, it's Dave with No Chaser, and today's topic is the French Revolution. No, anyways, today's topic is actually, it's one thing that it was a mindset or a concept or whatever you want to say that I had that kept me failing in recovery. And it was something about life, and it was the idea that my pursuit in life was to feel good. Like, in a sense, like, to pursue happiness. You know, I've been reading, well, I haven't been reading a lot of stuff. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, and me and my friend on our podcast, the Shoeless in South Dakota, by the way, plug. You know, we had talked on and off the air, about, like, you know, pursuing happiness, and like that life was about happiness. And I always had this thing where it was, you know, the pursuing of feeling good. So, you know, when I, for instance, was getting off drugs or when I was quitting drinking, I still wanted to feel good. And my mindset was, though, I needed to feel good with something else, whether that was a relationship or working out or with my career. Like, I had this idea that, you know, if I get a good job, I will feel good because I'll like the job I'm doing. And, you know, it's important to feel good, obviously. But I didn't ever consider that, you know, maybe life is about, like, purpose or meaning. And then I'd always wonder why I'd feel lost. You know, I wanted a meaningful career. I wanted a meaningful life. I wanted to have purpose. But it was so hard to ever attain that when I was also trying to obtain, like, feeling good. Like, I considered that a good day was how good I felt that day. You know, and I don't want to feel bad or anything like that, but it's different when it's about what your motivations are and what drives you in life. And I keep saying you, I'm talking to myself. Believe me, whenever I'm giving, like, advice or I'm saying you, I'm really just talking to me. Usually me in the past, but sometimes me in the present, because I don't get a lot of stuff, you know, down perfect or even very good. But I just, you know, it was always that sense that I didn't realize that I was just, like, in this need of, like, feeling good. That was, like, the important thing. So I would evaluate my day. I would evaluate my relationship or, you know, my work or whatever I was doing by how good it made me feel. And that was just, like, the wrong mindset for me to have, because, you know, it's so hard to count on life in these things for happiness. You know, happiness can be, it can be very fleeting. Enjoyment, you know, is important. It's obviously important to enjoy things, but it's more important, I think, to be grateful for things. That doesn't always mean enjoying them, but it's just having a sense of contentment or a sense of, you know, appreciation for things that you have in your life. And it was just always so much so. I think about it now, and it was just this pursuit of, I needed to feel good about these things. And it was always this pursuit, like, in the future, like, I will feel good when blank. I will feel good when I have this type, like I said, this type of relationship, this type of job, I'm living in this type of circumstances. And those things would, you know, never come to fruition, and I would feel lost. And I still feel lost to this day. And it's hard because pursuing things like meaning and, you know, having drive, it doesn't just come to me. Like, it's hard to try to conjure up, especially, you know, I struggle with depression. So even when I'm sober, depression will come on, and I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to, you know, I don't care about purpose, and I think I don't care about, like, meaning, whatever. I just, you know, it's hard to get out of bed. And so it's just, you know, things were difficult. And so I also had this issue where how I was structuring my goals. So, you know, one big thing is struggling a lot with sobriety is that goal, like, numero uno, was to be sober, right? And so it was nice to kind of have, like, that singleness of focus. It's a very, like, simple goal in a sense, but, you know, it's hard to obtain. But I would get that, and then my goals, you know, I wasn't quite sure what they were. Now, I'm a different type of person in the sense where I never wanted to have kids or, like, really raise a family. You know, I know that kind of makes me an outlier considering my age and everything like that. And I know people get a lot of purpose from that. They get a lot of purpose for being a provider, or, you know, how they raise their kids, or how their family is doing, things like that. And so I also felt like I had this like drive towards a self-centered, or a predisposition towards self-interest and self-centered things, because I didn't have anybody that relied on me. But, you know, I do get, like, recently I volunteered, and I have to talk about volunteering, because what's the point of volunteering if you're not going to tell people about it? But it made me, you know, feel good, and, like, being of service to others. And like I said, I don't do this little show, whatever you want to call it, to give, like, strictly advice to people. One of the biggest things is I try to relay the experience of someone trying to find their way in recovery, trying to find their way in sobriety, or, you know, just in the struggle of it all. Because, like I said, I want, like, everybody to watch this, whether you have long-term sobriety, whether you're still, like, struggling, whether you're still drinking, whether you're still using, whether you're, like, new in sobriety, whether you're just barely holding on, whether you have someone you love or care about that's struggling with drugs or alcohol, or whether you're just kind of curious about it. And in that sense, I try to just relay the experience, because that's the one thing I know I really can't do. Like, I don't have all the answers, because everybody's, you know, journey in recovery, it takes different paths. Like, there's, I think, foundational things that one needs to do, but for the most part, I know I can at least try in my best way to relay the experience. Like, one of the best compliments that I feel that I get, or the one that I enjoy the most, is that someone was like, you finally put, like, this experience I had into words that I never could. Like, that's one thing I try to do. And I know that, you know, regarding this topic, is that I just didn't realize that my goal or my aim was always to feel good. And I still, you know, I struggle with that, because sometimes it's just what I want. Because a lot of these bigger goals about, like, or these bigger, I don't know, pursuits about accomplishing things and becoming responsible, and you know, being a person of integrity, it requires a lot of sacrifice, and it requires a lot of, like, patience in doing stuff that doesn't have immediate rewards. And especially just even in the pursuit of, like, not happiness maybe, but contentment, it requires a lot of that. And I have such bad problems with, you know, impulsiveness, and my, like, instant gratification, and the way, like, I perceive, like, how I want rewards. Like, I have such a bad relationship with my future self, because I don't always make, like, these investments in the present for me. I usually screw over my future self in the way that I do things, like I said, impulsively, or the way that I'm just not patient in waiting. And you know, I'm trying to work on that. It's, you know, it's balancing these things of, like, living in the moment, but not living in the moment in the way that I used to for a while, or you know, when I relapse, when I do, where it's just like living in the moment in that way of, like, I don't think about tomorrow, and I just do whatever feels good now. And I want to live in the moment of just being grateful for things, and just being, you know, paying attention to what's going on right now. It's that type of stuff. And that means I have to pay attention to feelings that don't feel particularly good. I have to pay attention to things that are boring, or pay attention to things that are hard or difficult or confusing. Like, I have to keep attention to those things too. And I usually will just want to ignore those things. But again, it's just trying to change that. You know, now I'm thinking, what is the topic about? Is this just, like, ways to live a good life that I usually fail at? I don't know. I don't know if any of you all have those similar struggles or anything like that. You know, talk about it in the comments if you like, or just anything else. I have my No Chaser email, which I'll put in the description. It's nochaser2022@gmail.com. Send me something if you want me to talk about a topic or anything. Like, you know, sometimes I go a little bit longer without posting a video, because I don't want to repeat myself, or I don't want to post a video just to post a video. I want something that, you know, when it comes to mind, sometimes something does come to mind, but I'm at work, or I'm doing something where I can't do it, and then I kind of it goes by the wayside. But, you know, I really appreciate, you know, any topic that you want. You know, if it's good enough. If I feel that I can make a video out of it, I'll do a whole thing, and, you know, give you the shout out or whatnot. Like I said, I do have a podcast where if you enjoy these videos and you enjoy going on the deep or shallow end of things, or a little bit more humor and things like that, it's called Shoeless in South Dakota. I co-host it with my dear friend Brett, who is a podcast virtuoso. He's a very intelligent guy, and it's a good. Give it a listen, truthfully. Other than that, hit the like button if you want. Hit the subscribe button. Smash it if you want. If you're struggling right now, my heart goes out to you. If you're struggling because you're still drinking or struggling because you're newly sober, same thing. Just I've learned through all my failures and things like that I don't hold any judgment with anybody. So I wish that you find peace some way, or you find your way out of it, or at least you feel the least amount of pain as possible. If you've been sober for quite a while, keep it up, keep going. If you're just watching this because somebody like we all do that struggles with addiction or drinking, I hope this could be informative in some way. Other than that, be well, and I'll stop the video now.